Good morning, everybody. I am Vempati Srinivasulu, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, working at Nagarjuna Government Degree College. In the previous lecture, we have started a new chapter, Coordination Chemistry. This chapter is for BSc second year, third semester. In the previous class, we have discussed what are coordination compounds and what are double salts and what are the differences, what are the main difference between double salts and coordination compounds. I recap once again. So double salts are the compounds which are having some specific properties, but these specific properties are lost when they dissolve in water or any other solvent. In the solution, they will give tests for constituent ions. For example, carnallite. Carnallite solution, carnallite in water, it will give test for potassium ion and Cl minus ion and sulfate ion. So they don't retain their identity in solution. Examples are carnallite, Epsom, and different alums, potash alum, chrome alum, manganese alum, etc. Whereas our coordination compounds, they retain their identity when they are in solution, when they dissolve in solution. For example, potassium ferrocyanide or hexaamino cobalt 3 chloride are different examples for coordination compounds. So these are the examples for coordination compounds. In coordination chemistry, we come across with different new terms. So we have discussed new terms. What are those? What is a coordination compound? What is a complex ion? What is central metal ion? What is coordination number? All these things we discussed in the previous class. So generally, coordination compounds have a metal ion at the center. So this metal ion exists. This metal ion exhibits a coordination number. What is coordination number? It is a number of coordination bonds formed by it with different negative or neutral or positive ions which are surrounded by it. So this is a coordination number. So in coordination compound, central metal atom or ion, it forms coordination bonds with some negative or positive or neutral ions. Generally, coordination compounds they write in square brackets. That means coordination sphere. Square brackets indicates coordination sphere. Then we discussed what is the charge, what is a complex ion. If complex having charge, we can say that is a complex ion. Complex ion may be cationic or anionic. Thus, this complex ion charge is equal to metal ion, central metal atom or ion, and surrounded molecules charge. So we add these charges together, we'll get a charge of the complex. If complex has no charge, it's neutral, sometimes it may happen. So complex ion charge is equal to sum of metal atom or ion charge and surrounded groups charges. So from this principle, we will calculate central metal ion oxidation number. Okay, so in the last class we have discussed all these things. In this class we will discuss what are ligands, what are different types of ligands, different examples for different types of ligands. And what is chelation? What are chelating ligands? What is its specialty? Then we'll discuss some IUPAC rules of naming these coordination compounds. So let us start today's class. Okay. All these things we discussed: coordination number, okay, calculation of central metal atom charge. All these things we discussed. Okay. So ligand. What is a ligand? So in coordination compounds, we come across with different new terms. Among those, ligand is one of the important term. So ligand, what is a ligand? So the molecules are ions that bond to the metal ion are known as ligands. The central metal and its ligands constitute the coordination sphere. So here we have two statements. One is definition. So in coordination compounds, already we learned that there are some coordination bonds. A group or atom or molecule, group of atoms, a molecule which is forming a bond by donating an electron pair to the central metal atom or ion. The group which is forming bond by donating an electron pair is called ligand. So in this complex formation, ligand is donating an electron pair. That means, as per acid-base theory, Lewis acid-base theory, a group which is a donating electron pair and forming coordination bond is known as Lewis base. That's why ligands act as bases. This electron pair is accepting by central metal atom or ion. That's why in this case, in this complex formation also a acid-base reaction in which central metal atom or ion acting as Lewis acid. So Lewis acid and Lewis base combining to form a salt, what we call is complex compound, a coordination compound. So in this you see central metal atom is cobalt. Cobalt is surrounded by 6 groups, 6 molecules. So 4 molecules ammonia molecules and 2 is, this is a chloride. So 2 chloride atoms and 4 ammonia molecules. So these are 6 ligands. So number of ligands surrounded by the central metal atom or ion is also known as coordination number. So for this complex, we can say coordination number of cobalt is 6. How? 4 ammonia molecules, 2 chloride ions. So altogether 6 ligands surrounded by cobalt ion. So in this complex, cobalt is exhibiting coordination number 6. So this is something about ligand. In the coordination sphere, we have ligands and with central metal. So central metal and ligands constitutes coordination sphere. What we we use this symbol for coordination sphere. Okay. So this is about ligand definition. So what is ligand? Ligand is a group of atoms or molecule or any atom, single atom, but it is capable of donating an electron pair. By donating this electron pair, it is forming a dative bond. That means it must and should have an lone pair of electrons. That's a very important condition. It should have at least one lone pair of electron which can donate. If can't donate, that group then doesn't act as a lone ligand. So this is about ligand. A common feature shared by the ligands in complexes is stability to donate electron pairs to central metal atoms or ions acts as Lewis bases. Just now I told you. So in these complex compounds, central metal atom or ion acts as Lewis acid, whereas ligands acts as Lewis base. So complex formation is nothing but acid base reaction. So types of ligands. We see different types of ligands. Already I told you in the definition. So at least a ligand should have at least one lone pair of electrons that should be donated, capable of donating. There are ligands which more than one electron pair. So those are also acts as ligands. So in that case, so we can classify ligands into different types: monodentate ligand, bidentate ligand, tridentate ligand, polydentate ligand. Mono means one. If a ligand that uses one pair of electrons to form one point of attachment to the central metal atom or ion is called monodentate ligand. You see this monodentate. What is mono means one. Dentate means it is having one point or one place around the coordination sphere of the central metal atom. Just now I told you central atom is surrounded by some some groups of atoms, what we call as ligands. So they have some geometry. So, for example, octahedral geometry, it has 6 places, 6 points. So, monodentate ligand occupies one place of those 6 places, 6 points. So, monodentate ligand is a ligand which is occupying only one place or one center or one point around the central metal atom in a coordination sphere of the metal atom array. So that is monodentate ligand. For example, chloro, water molecule, or ammonia molecule. All these are examples for monodentate ligand. I repeat, monodentate ligand is a ligand which is donating only one electron pair to the central metal atom or ion by occupying only one point or one place around the central metal atom or ion. Some ligands are capable of donating more than a single electron pair from different atoms in the ligand and to different sites in the geometry structure of a complex. Those are called polydentate ligand. This is a polydentate ligand. So mono means one, poly means many. So two or more. The ligands which are having two or more, generally for two we call bidentate. For three, tridentate. So two more than two or three, what we call as poly. Poly means many, more than two. So these ligands have more than two atoms which are having lone pair of electrons. That's very important. So it has, for example, a ligand has two lone pair of electrons. These two, by donating these two lone pair electrons to the central metal atom, it is forming two bonds with central metal atom. By occupying, it is occupying two places around the central atom in coordination complex. That's why that ligand is called bidentate ligand. For example, other than if it occupies three places around the central atom, tridentate ligand. If it occupies more than three, polydentate ligand. So we have different examples for monodentate, didentate, bidentate, tridentate, and polydentate ligand. I think you clear. So mono means one, a ligand which is capable of donating only one pair of electron. By donating this pair to the central metal atom or ion, it is forming only one bond, one coordination bond It is occupying only one place around the central metal atom or ion. Those are called unidentate or monodentate ligands. Otherwise, those are called polydentate ligands. Next slide. Okay, so here are some examples for monodentate, bidentate, and polydentate. You see one by one. So this is a water molecule, H2O. So H2O has two electron pairs on oxygen atom. You see one electron pair, but it is capable of giving only one lone pair electron. Even though it has two lone pair electrons, but it doesn't donate these two electron pairs. That's why it is classified as monodentate ligand. Okay, then coming to the ammonia molecule. If you just see the structure of ammonia, so structure of ammonia is NH3 is a pyramidal shape. We know that ammonia has a sp3 hybridization. So ammonia in the central atom, it exhibits sp3 hybridization. On nitrogen, one of the orbital has electron pair. So this is a lone pair electron. That's why by donating this lone pair, it is acting as a ligand. Since it is donating only one pair of electron, it has only one. By donating this one, it is occupying one place around the central atom in a geometry, in a coordination sphere. That's why it is monodentate ligand. So like that, ammonia, water, so ammonia, water, chloride, cyanide, hydroxide, all thiocyanate, cyanate, all these are monodentate ligands. Water molecule, ammonia molecule, fluoride, all halogen ions, chloride, bromides, iodide, cyanide, cyanate, thiocyanate, all these are examples for monodentate ligands. Why? Since they are donating only one pair of electron, it is occupying only one point around the central metal atom in a zone complex here. So coming to a bidentate, bi means two, di or bi. So it is, for example, you see this is ethylene diamine, CH2, CH2, ethylene group CH2. Each carbon has having NH2. So the two amino groups are there. We know amino groups are having one electron pair on nitrogen. So we have two electron pairs, two amines. That's why two electron pairs. So it can donate these two electron pairs. That's why it is bidentate ligand. That means it occupies two charges, two points or two places around the central atom. Okay, ethylene. One is oxalate ion. You know, oxalic acid is COOH. So this is a COO, COO. So it's oxalate. This is oxalate. So by this oxalate, it can also donate two electron pairs. That's why it is a bidentate ligand. So two examples for bidentate. One is ethylene diamine and there is oxalate. Okay, coming to tridentate. This is a, you see carefully, this is a diethylene triamine. So one ethylene, two ethylenes, diethylene triamines. Why triamines? It has three amino groups, 1, 2, 3. These three amino groups have one electron pair each on nitrogen atom. That's why by donating these three electron pairs, it can bond three coordination bonds with central metal atom. That's why it is tridentate ligand. Okay, coming to the hexadentate ligand. This is very important. In so many times it is asked in the examination. Give an example for hexadentate ligand. EDTA. What is this? Ethylene diamine tetraacetate or acetic acid. This is example for hexadentate ligand. You see, ethylene diamine is there. This is ethylene diamine. Amino groups, one electron pair on nitrogen. That's why two. COO group is there. You see, COO group. Carboxyl groups, four groups are there. 2 on each nitrogen. In amine, NH2 is amine. These two hydrogens are replaced by carboxyl. That's why it is hexadentate ligand. Why hexadentate ligand? It has 6 electron pairs. It can donate 6 electron pairs to the central metal atom in a complex. It can occupy 6 places around the central metal atom. So you see what are those places? You see carefully. One, this O, this O, this O, this O. 4 oxygen atoms, O minus. So 4 electron pairs. Each nitrogen 1 electron pair. So that's why altogether 6. It can donate 6 electron pairs and it can occupy 6 places, 6 point charges around the central metal atom or ion in a coordination compound. That's why we can define these ligand as hexadentate ligand. So I think it's clear. What is a ligand? So examples, different types. So these are polydentate ligand. Poly means many, more than 2. Okay. So if diethylene triamine and ethylene diamine tetraacetate, EDTA. EDTA stands for ethylene diamine tetraacetate. This is an example for hexadentate ligand or polydentate ligand. Okay. This is about something about ligands. Next slide. You see, in this coordination compound, it is tris-ethylene diamine cobalt 3 ion. So you see the nomenclature in the next session or next slides. But this is the name of the compound. What is happening is here, central metal atom. This is a coordination sphere. You see carefully, it is a coordination sphere. In the coordination sphere, it has a minus charge. You see, we are observing this charge here minus. It is a complex anion. It's a complex anion. So in this complex anion, what we see, cobalt is a central metal atom. This is a cobalt. So ethylene diamines are there. One ethylene diamine. Okay. Okay. This is a AgTA. This is ethylene diamine. This amine has one carboxyl, other carboxyl. This amine has one carboxylate. So that's why from nitrogens, 2 places. From oxygens, 2 from this, 2 from this. So altogether 6. That means coordination number 6 is satisfied by only one ligand, that is EDTA. So that is this is the example. So it is a polydentate ligand. Okay, this is a polydentate ligand. Next, coming to the chelates. So far we discussed what are ligands and definition and some examples and classification of ligands. So apart from the classification, there are some ligands, even though they having 2 electron pairs, but they can donate only 1 pair. Those are called ambidentate ligand. For example, thiocyanate or cyanate. Cyanate and thiocyanate having 2 you see, cyanate C double bond N double bond O. It has electron pair on cyanide, carbon and oxygen, but it can donate only 1. Those are called ambidentate ligand. So one more example is thiocyanate. Okay, so this is also one type of ligand, ambidentate ligand. So it is even though it has more than 1 electron pair, but it is occupying only 1 point charge, one point around the central atom. That is called ambidentate ligand. Coming to the another type of ligand, chelating ligand. You know what is the special term? New term, chelating ligands. So what is chelating ligand? What is chelation? What are chelates? We will discuss. Okay. Okay. Come on. So chelating ligand. When a bidentate ligand or polydentate ligand is attached by 2 or more donor atoms to the same central ion, forming a ring structure. This is important. The ligand is called chelating ligand. The formed complex is called chelate. The process of formation of a chelate is called chelation. So we'll discuss in detail, don't worry. So what is a chelating ligand? First, chelating ligand is when it is forming coordination bonds with central metal atom or ion, it is generating two or more. So two, if it is generating two with two other atoms, by this process it forms a cyclic structure with a central metal atom. So this cyclic structure is called chelation. The process of this formation of the cyclic is chelation. That ligand is called chelating ligand. That's why a complex which has a chelating ligand, that is called chelate. Those complexes is called chelate. Okay, I think you understood. We'll give examples. We'll discuss in the examples also. So what is the definition? If first you listen carefully. When a bidentate or polydentate ligand is attached by two or more donor atoms to the same central ion, forming a ring structure. It is forming a ring structure. This is important. This ligand is called chelating ligand. The complex is called chelate. The process of formation of this chelate is called chelation. Coming to chelating agent, is a polydentate ligand. It simultaneously attaches to two or more positions in a coordination sphere to the central atom or complex ion. We'll see in the next slide. You see, for example, chelating ligands. For example, it is a ethylene diamine. Assume ethylene diamine is forming a bond with the central metal atom or ion. For example, this is a metal atom. So it is donating two electron pairs from here and here. So by forming two bonds, it is forming a cyclic structure. That's why this bidentate ligand is also known as chelating ligand. So you see carefully, it is a ethylene diamine. It is assumed it is forming two bonds with the central metal, one bond, two bonds. So by these two bonds, it is attaching to the central metal atom or ion. So by this way, it is forming a cyclic structure, a cyclic. That's why this cyclic structure is called chelate. This ligand, this metal, the complex is called chelate. The process formation of this is chelation. That's why this ligand is called chelating ligand. In the similar way, carboxylate. You see, this is the oxalate. Two carboxyl loops attached with carbon. Oxalate. So from this oxygen and this oxygen, it can form two bonds. You see, for example, it's a metal atom or ion. It can donate electron pair from here, from here. So from these two bonds, it is forming a cyclic structure. This is called chelate. That's why it is a chelating ligand. So ethylene diamine and oxalate. You see, in a similar way, EDTA. In the last slide we discussed, EDTA also a chelating ligand. It can occupy more than one point charge around the central metal atom in a complex. So all these are examples for chelating ligands: ethylene diamine, oxalate, and EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraestate. All these three are examples for chelating ligands. For example, one more example, just now we discussed diethylene trimine or triethylene tetramine. So all these are examples for chelating ligands. Chelating ligands are ligands which are coordinating to the central metal atom by more than one electron pair. That means it is forming more than one coordination bond. That's why it is forming cyclic structure. This cyclic structure is called a complex which has a chelate is called chelate, which has a cyclic structure with with ligands is called chelate. That's why those ligands which are forming chelates is called chelating ligand. The process of formation of chelate or cyclic structure is called chelation. Okay. So this is about chelating. You see one for more examples for chelates. You see this is a porphyrin structure. It's a porphyrin structure. We see in the biomolecules like a chlorophyll, hemoglobin, and vitamin B12, cyanocobalamin. In these biomolecules, we see this type of porphyrin structure. You see, it is even though it is having four atoms of nitrogens, but this is can donate only two electrons. So you see, electron two pairs are there. So it is a cyclic structure already. When it forms coordination bonds with the central metal atoms, so this forms a chelate structure. So this is also example for chelating ligand. In addition to ethylene diamine, triethylene diethylene triamine, or oxalate, or EDTA, and porphyrin. All these are example for chelating ligands. Okay, next you see chelating ligand. What is the specialty of this chelating ligand? It affects stability. The stability point of view, these are more important. So what happens in the case of in regarding to stability? We'll discuss. Chelating ligands form stable complexes than ordinary ligands. This is also called as chelate effect. Very important. You see, observe chelate effect. Okay. So whenever a complex is forming a chelate with bidentate ligand or polydentate ligands, that complex is more stable when we compare to other complex which doesn't have any chelate ligand or polydentate ligand. So thus, because of forming a chelate, that means cyclic structure with ligand, it gets stable. That's why getting more stability due to formation of chelate or chelation, due to chelation, it is called chelate effect. Okay, I think you understood the stability of chelate. So further, you see, the stability of chelate depends upon number of atoms in a ring. Just now I told you, in the chelation we observe a ring structure with the ligands. Central atom forms a cyclic structure with this chelating ligand. Okay, the number of atoms involved in this chelation or chelation, okay, in the chelate, central metal atom as well as donating groups. So by altogether, the number of atoms in a cyclic structure, that number also affect the stability of the complex. So chelates are more stable when we compare to non-chelate ligands, non-chelate complexes. Further, in chelates also, we compare generally chelating ligands which do not contain double bonds are form more stable complexes with 5-membered rings. This is one important thing to be noted. 5-membered. So with double bonds, without double bonds, with 5-membered is stable. In the case of double bond, what happens? Already we know the ring strain. So due to this ring strain, they are stable. So 5-membered rings are stable when they doesn't have any double bond. If it has double bond, if it has a 6-membered ring, even though it has double bond, stable. That means the ring strain is less when we compare to 5-membered ring. So chelate complex are more stable than non-chelates. First thing. Second thing, when between two chelates, 5-membered rings are unstable, less stable than 6-membered rings.
If fiber ring is having pi bond, is less, still unstable. So chelates are more stable than non-chelating complexes. Okay, one thing, when we differentiate, when we compare these two complexes with which chelates. So 6 member rings are having ring cycles having 6 member rings are more stable than 5 member rings. 5 member rings are so stable when they doesn't have pi bond. So this is something about stability of chelates. Chelate ligands with smaller groups form stable complexes than the larger and bulky groups. This is because of steric reasons, steric factors. You know, already we know steric factors. So chelating ligands are forms more stable complexes than non-chelating ligands, normal ligands. That's very clear. When coming to the chelates, 6 member rings are more stable than 5 member rings. Clear. In 5 member rings, if it doesn't have any pi bond, is more stable. I think clear. So in 6 member rings also, if it doesn't have any bulky group, it is more stable. If it does, it has a group substance like carboxyl group or any other bulky phenyl group like groups, it is unstable because of its steric factors. So this is something about chelating ligands and stability. Okay, I think you clear. Okay, so chelates are more stable than non-chelates. Okay, 5 member rings are more stable when they have pi bond. So pi bonding 5 member structures are ring structures are unstable. Then 6 member rings are more stable than all of us. Even though it is a 6 member ring, it doesn't have any bulky group as a substrate on the ligand. If it has bulky group, due to steric factors, stability matters. So stability changes. So that means this is a chelates, chelating ligands, chelation, and stability of chelates. Okay, so these are the okay today's class. So what today we discussed is definition of coordination compounds and terms. Okay, in the last class. In this class, especially we discussed about ligands. What are ligands? How many types? Different examples, and let us what is it ligand? Already explained once again. A group of atoms or atom or a molecule or a group of atoms which is occupying a point around the central metal atom in a complex by donating an electron pair. That's a ligand. So ligand acts as Lewis base, whereas central metal atom acts as Lewis acid. So complex formation is a acid-base reaction in terms of Lewis acid-base theory. Then monodentate ligands, for example, water molecule, ammonia molecule, halide ions, cyanide, cyanate, thiocyanate, etc. Bidentate ligands. So these are the ligands which are donating two electron pairs to the central metal atom or ion by occupying 2 points around the central metal atom in a coordination in a geometry of a complex in a coordinate sphere. Bidentate. It can donate 3. Tridentate. It can donate 4. Tetra. So altogether it's called polydentate. A ligand which is donating more than 2 or 3 we call as polydentate ligand. Examples are diethylene triamine, ethylene diamine tetraestate. So these bidentate or polydentate ligands, when they are forming a coordination compound, in this coordination compound formation, they form a cyclic structure. Cyclic structure. So this cyclic structure is called chelate. Chelate. process of formation of cyclic structure is called. So that's why those ligands are called chelating ligands. So coming to the stability term, when the compounds form chelates, those are stable, then we compare to other non-chelating ligands. So 6-member rings are more stable than 5-member rings in the chelates. So even though 6-member ring, if it has a less bulky group, it is more stable than when it has a more bulkier substrate. So this is a today class. What we have discussed is ligands, classification, and chelation, stability of chelating effect, and the fact how the chelating is affecting stability of chelates. In the next class, we will discuss IUPAC nomenclature of these coordination compounds. Thank you very much. We'll see in the next